93 WIBC, it is Terri Stacy, and this is the first day, the WIBC Sunday Magazine. I'm so happy to welcome to WIBC Patrick Keller, managing broker and owner of Crestpoint Real Estate right here in Central Indiana. Call crestpoint.com. Patrick, how are you? I'm glad to have you with us today.
I am so happy to be with you, too. I'm doing great. How are you?
We're doing okay. You know, it seems like it's a great time to be in real estate. How long have you been helping people buy and sell homes?
I have been in real estate for 6 years.
And what is exciting about the Central Indiana market?
Oh, we love our Midwestern people. You know, we love Midwestern hospitality. We just love the folks around here so much, and the market is exciting. Indianapolis is growing. The suburbs are growing. Everything is really exciting. A lot of towns are doing really neat things in their downtown. So we love just seeing the Indianapolis market growing and being a part of that.
How big of a company have you really become? How many people work for you now?
Yeah, we're up to 24 folks, and we started obviously with just one, and we've worked our way up to 24 people between realtors and admins, transaction coordinators, and everyone. We've got almost 25 folks.
That's terrific. Let's talk about the election a little bit and this may be a silly question, but Patrick, does the election of a new president affect the housing market at all?
That is a really good question, and we get asked that all the time. I think the best way to answer that is kind of looking back through history. And there's been studies that have been done even recently and even over the past 20, 30 years. And it usually shows that the market slows down in the months leading up to the election because people just don't like change. But then what we usually see is that slowdown leading up to the election generally rebounds and almost doubles in the last month of the year because now people feel, assured. They feel that everything's going to be okay. It's just more so the change that they're worried about, more so than anything, and the market will rebound. And so we usually don't see it being affected long-term from an election.
Buyers versus sellers versus balanced. What kind of a market are we in right now heading into the winter months?
I'd say it's definitely leaning favorably towards a seller's market still. Most sellers are experiencing multiple offers on their properties. If their home is at an average sales price or close to it, they're selling over list price, and generally they'll sell in as little as 24 hours. We just listed properties this week that had multiple offers in less than 12 hours.
Wow.
So it's definitely leaning towards the seller's market. However, with amazing interest rates, historically low interest rates right now, borrowing money at very low cost, I believe that buyers are also winning. So I like to say that it's balanced, but I think on paper it's still leaning towards the seller's market because sellers are generally getting what they want and when they want it.
Do you think that those numbers you're talking about will stay this way throughout the winter months?
Our interest rates don't look to be changing anytime soon. And everyone that we've talked to in the industry, mortgage brokers or loan officers, they don't foresee any change in the interest rates because low interest rates is a huge part of our housing market, and our housing market is successful because of it. And I don't think anyone in our government or at the banks, they don't want our housing market to not succeed right now in the midst of all of this pandemic. So keeping the rates low and steady right now is going to be good for everyone. And so no one really has a plan to change those rates in the future that we are aware of.
This is Patrick Keller, managing broker, owner of Crestpoint Real Estate. There are new friends here at WIBC. Call crestpoint.com for information. Are there some hot spots around town right now that people are kind of gravitating towards?
Yeah, we've seen, unfortunately with the pandemic going on right now, people are asking for more space, and that's for several reasons.
Okay.
They want to be not so close to people right now, unfortunately. And the other thing is a lot of people are working from home. And so if their homes didn't have offices or third or fourth bedrooms, people are looking for that. And as most people know, those larger homes and those larger configurations of real estate are generally located away from urban areas. So we are seeing a spike in suburban areas right now, a lot of people wanting to move into the suburbs. So pretty much any suburb, north side, south side, west side, east side of Indianapolis, is succeeding right now and selling because people are wanting some more space.
I just keep wondering about all the condos and all of the apartments that are being built downtown in this area. You think that's still going to be a hot place to move?
I think it may take some time, and this is my personal opinion, but I believe that it will all come back. And I think that people are always going to be attracted to have things to do. And people want to live near things to do, shopping, dining, all of those things. And Indianapolis obviously has had an amazing hub for that in the past. And I think that all comes back. And then people do want to live and move in those areas. So if there's a small blip of those condos and those places in downtown Indianapolis not succeeding, I think it's small. And I think when everyone opens back up again, I think people will want to get back into those areas.
How has the pandemic affected what you do in real estate?
I think it would be crazy to say that there was no worry in this. And, when the first, I would say, shutdown or the first stay-at-home order was placed, a lot of people and a lot of businesses were worried about being successful. And we were as well, too. We were worried that we were not going to be able to continue doing our jobs for our clients. And fortunately enough, we were considered essential because people do need to move, even in the midst of a pandemic. And so there was probably a 1 to 2 week, nervousness period, I think, in our market. People just didn't want to leave their homes. And we experienced a small turn down in just activity in those 1 to 2 weeks in mid-March. But since then, everyone is still continuing to move, and I think it's because of the opportunity to buy at low interest rates. And I do think that there are folks, yes, a lot of folks have unfortunately lost their jobs, and that's unfortunate, and we really want them to get back into the workplace, and we're going to try to help. Business owners should try and help that. But I do think that the folks that were able to keep their jobs, they still wanted to move. And we've had our best year yet at our brokerage, and I've heard that across the city that real estate sales, real estate brokerages have had the best years ever this year, which is crazy to think about in the midst of the pandemic. But I think it was just a small slowdown that led to a really large amount of interest in real estate over a short period of time.
Patrick, we're just days away from Thanksgiving, and then we go right into Christmas. And for somebody that has their home on the market, should they expect that it may be maybe a few weeks or maybe even a month or two before they'll get a sniff, or do you feel pretty confident?
No, with low inventory right now and the rates being low, I foresee that sellers will have no problem selling in the midst of Thanksgiving and Christmas and all of the holidays, if that is in their plan to do so. I think that even into the into the spring of next year, I think that we'll have a really great seller's market regardless. And so I don't foresee there being any slowdown in regards to seller interest. I think sellers that put their home on the market, even in this Thanksgiving, Christmas time period, are going to be successful because of the low inventory.
This is Patrick Keller. He's the managing broker, owner of Crest Point Real Estate, and he's going to join us here once a month now and talk about the market and what you can be looking forward to, and also some great tips. And in fact, excuse me, if you need him right now, call crestpoint.com. That's the website, www.callcrestpoint.com. Be sure to listen for the Crest Point Real Estate Minute, and that begins this week right here on 93 WIBC. Thank you so much, Patrick.
Thanks for having me.
Coming up after today's top stories, John Herrick from the newsroom. You hear him. He anchors Mornings with Tony Katz, and he's a great reporter. He wanted to meet Miss Indiana, and so he interviewed her. But there's news about Miss Indiana, so we'll hear that conversation coming up after the news. You're listening to The First Day on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.